Welcome back. So we're talking about seasonal fruit. You mentioned agbalumo.
Yes. Now, as you walk along the street, you see this woman sitting with her bottle of agbalumo. It's getting cheaper and cheaper because it's coming on season.
Sorry, if I may ask, what's the English or scientific name for agbalumo?
Well, I think agbalumo is the popular name in Lagos.
Cherry.
Well, you call it the
yellow cherry.
African cherry.
The African cherry.
African cherry.
And then the Igbos will call it Odara or something like that.
Yes. You see, you go back there, that same batch that she has just bought, unless she is able to sell a substantial part of it, the next 2 or 3 days, they will start wilting. She has it at the back of her mind that at least 30% of what she bought will be lost and people will not buy it. She will have added it to the cost of what she has. It's a simple business sense. Another one is plantain. Plantain season is coming to an end now. The past 3 months has seen a lot of plantain, very cheap in the market. Now, this task force job is simple. At the time things like these are in season, our scientists and indeed our research institutions have already come up with a lot of work to make sure that they can be kept longer so that the wastages are reduced and they are available most of the year. It may not be all year round, but most of the year. That has an advantage of bringing down prices. Plantain is a very, very good case because most houses eat plantain. Agbalumo is just a snack, but plantain is a very, very important one. Yam is another issue. As of today, in Brazil, they don't produce anything as much as the yam as we produce here, but the little yam they produce, they have found a way of keeping their yam for 3 years. Yes, through ultraviolet rays to reduce the microbes that attack your yams. These have been discovered in Nigeria. These are possible, but we do not have policies that help this. The policies must be one, those who are ready to fund it, because the long-term funding, the capital expenditure is high. The other one is those who are actually serious business people who will come into it. We are beginning to have that now since agribusiness has become the game in town. The game in town.
There are questions some people would ask.
Yes.
Do we really need a task force? Because when you hear task force, it sounds like it's like
some committee.
Yes, a very forceful thing. Do we really need a task force to do right by us in terms of food storage? I mean, we have national silos spread across the country that can help to bring down the cost of some of these things if the foods are properly stored. We have research institutions in all the universities. We have agricultural departments in all the universities that do research. Then we have agricultural research institutions that are, as you said, discovering all of these things. So do we really need a task force to help stem the rise in price of food?
Now you've raised the issue. The answer is that you needed a political touch to it, so politicians can be seen to be doing something even if they are not doing anything. Because right now, the task force thing gives people the idea that government is doing something. But what needs to be done should have been done long ago, and it's an ongoing thing. It does not need a task force to do it. The answer to your question is that we do not need a task force. What we already have, we have already been told we need to do, let's start doing them. And it's not something you do overnight. Task force gives an impression that you're going to do something, you're going to give it a shot in the arm, like an injection that will change things. You can't. So really, the task force itself, if it's to go and collect all that information and make it available. But at the end of the day, government are not the people that determine the price of food. It's the private sector. Your great auntie in your village who is planting vegetable, she's a capitalist. She's a private sector person. So government, unless government allows her, gives her that environment to be able to plant it more efficiently, tell her that if you do this, you get more of the vegetables. Government is not helping. So government cannot be coming and saying you are putting together a task force. Who is the task force? Who are those to serve in the task force committee? The task force is already there. The entire agribusiness group in Nigeria are the task force. That means those who are the farmers, those who are in fact the logistics people, the research institutions, and the various consumers. Nigeria is now moving from traditional markets. I'm talking about village markets to shopping malls. That's where we're moving to. The question is our environment moving in that direction? If we continue to move along that, and we're not improving on what that farmer is producing, we'll keep on importing like we're doing now.
Let's look at that area of what the farmer is producing.
Yes.
The linkage between that farmer, we still have about 70% of the farmers in the rural areas.
Yes.
The linkage between that farmer, what he or she produces, and what goes into the malls. Or should we use malls or markets now?
Yes.
Which one should we use? So let's generally call them markets.
Yes.
So that linkage, do we have that linkage right? Because the bulk of what is produced is still wasted.
Yes.
Before it even gets out to the market. So can we create that link without an intervention of the political side of agriculture?
Well, you see, the political side of all right, to be able to create that link must be an efficient link. Now, that means that first, as that farmer is harvesting his produce, the temperature must be brought down immediately. He must handle each one, he must handle the fruits. For example, the plantain, you don't just throw plantain. What happens if you go to the West Indies, who are the biggest producers of plantain? Before you harvest your plantain, you put a jacket on it, a nylon transparent jacket. You inject a little gas into it that kills the microbes. So the plantain is now, when you see them bringing down plantain, it's like a baby from the hospital, a newborn baby. They put it down gently. What we do is that we go to the cap, we get a cutlass, as long as it's sharp, on the ground, beam, you take it, you throw it into the vehicle. That in itself is nothing less than 20% loss. So those are issues that we need to say creating the linkage. Linkage is not just one place. You must start from there. What I do say.
Okay, we're growing now, but I like that part where you said the farmer is important.
Yes.
And we need to change our psyche to seeing it as national wealth.
Yes.
How quickly can we get that done?
We can get that done as soon as we get more and more people. The media, for example, the past 2 years have done a lot of work on this. I know when I watch channels, very often I can't remember one day when channels did not bring something up about food and agriculture, and that was not what they were doing about 10 years ago. But these are part of the things. What we need to do is let us continue as we are doing and continue in that direction and taking agriculture seriously. We don't have any choice. There's no more oil. See, you don't hear.